Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is the Trite Maniac, or Dr. Nighttime if you want to call me by my in-game name. And tonight, I'd like to discuss possible nerfs and buffs that I would consider making to the cards in the game if I were in charge of game balance. I'm not. I am not Dev Token. Dev Token is in charge. But still, it's fun to speculate about some of this stuff. And so let's go through this. Ferran, I think, is fine. Ilmea, I think, is good, but not overpowered. In fact, I kind of think that... So, Ilmea has the potential to +2. I think that every color should have one card that can +2 on its own. But that's fine. Naya's fine. Olivia's fine. Dooley, I think, is fine. Nona, strong but fine. Okay, Umale. First card I would actually change. Red-blue seems to be the weakest combination, although I did recently lose to Shadow Killer's red-blue deck, so perhaps I've been underrating red-blue. But I think part of the reason that red-blue is so weak, let me rephrase, part of the reason why I think red-blue is so weak is that for the multicolor crystal generators, red-blue is the most awkward and clunky one. Mector, more than half the time opponent plays at least a 3-drop, so more than half the time you'll be getting a red and a green. Mista, you'll consistently be getting a blue and a green. Umale, you need to already have a blue in order to get 2 reds, but now you might not have a blue anymore. So how would I fix Umale? Simple. Keep it 3 cost, and just say, if you have, just have the text be, if you have a blue crystal, gain a red crystal. Rather than needing to destroy your blue crystal to gain an additional red. Because also, if you're running multicolored decks, there's no reason to, if you're running a red-blue deck, there's never a reason why you would need 2 red crystals. There's nothing that, as far as I know, there are no cards in the game that require you to burn 2 red crystals and not a 3rd red crystal, right? There's Exegator, right? And a 3rd non-red crystal, I should say. But yeah, if you're running red-blue, right, there's never really a reason why you would need 2 red crystals. So, enough on that. Callie, I think, is weak. I think should be weak. Video coming out about a few cards that, to my mind, should not be good. Marie, same. Hilda, I think, is appropriately strong. No need for a nerf or a buff. Heaton's fine. Danelle's fine. I mean, maybe a little weak, but still fine. Mink, yeah, I'd say this card's a little weak. Now, it's okay for some cards to be weak. Probably fine, but if I were going to speculate and say, okay, maybe should do something, I feel like having some other effect, because limiting the opponent to drawing only 1 card is not worth -1. So, to my mind, what would I do? I'd add in some other minor effect. Perhaps and can't gain crystals, or perhaps and can't see power information circles. So, maybe that. Gina's okay. Tilia, so Tilia is weak. And also the other color Tilia clones, right? Forgetting their names already, but I think it's fine to have a weak card like this, just to demonstrate to new players, here, try this, but then you notice that it's weak and you learn from it, right? It's okay to have some bad cards that, just by being in the game, are meant to teach players that the game mechanics are more subtle than they initially think. But if you do want to make it competitive, yeah, I would just say, next turn your blue cards obtain +2 power, right? Kind of like a Grandmancer. Lorna I like. Therese, kinda weak, shouldn't be good. Rebel, I think, is fine. Lena, pretty standard. Selma's standard. Lizetta, I would maybe give a slight buff to Lizetta, saying instead of destroy one enemy crystal, say destroy two, because as I've mentioned, I think that the text destroy two enemy crystals is as strong as healing 1 point or dealing 1 point. But Dev Token, I've had a conversation with Dev Token, and Dev Token has mentioned he thinks that successfully destroying an enemy crystal is significantly better than 1 life point. So, I don't know. Tanda. Alright, so I think Tanda should get a buff, because, as I've mentioned, I feel like destroying 2 enemy crystals, or the text destroy 2 enemy crystals, is as strong as deal 1 point or heal 1 point. And the question is, well, what do you change? Do you change destroy 2 enemy crystals to destroy 3 enemy crystals? How often are you even going to leave 3 crystals unused? That's not going to help it. Do you say instead of dealing 4 damage, deal 5 damage? Now, that's just too much damage for 1 shot. So how would I fix it? I would say deal 4 damage, destroy 2 enemy crystals, and add the opponent cannot gain crystals next turn. And that would be particularly strong, I'd say, because when you've had 2 crystals destroyed, so you're relatively unlikely to end your turn with crystals, that is exactly when you'd be trying to gain crystals. So, that's what I'd do. Might make her a little too strong, maybe then don't buff Umale, I don't know. Helen, fine. Tigra, maybe change the destroy 1 enemy crystal to destroy 2. Again, this gets to the difference in perspectives that Dev Token and I have about how much crystal destruction is worth. Wish. Oh boy. So, it's not that I think Wish is too strong. It's that I think that Wish has the potential to just make the game really unfun. In that, so if you're running Wish, you're obviously running a lot of different colored crystal generators. And the issue I see is that if you have, generate 2 crystals, or a standard crystal generator that also by taking damage generates another crystal, if you see those in your 3 different colors on your first 3 turns, you could end the game on turn 4. And even with a 1 turn delay, right, if something goes wrong 1 turn, you can end the game on turn 5. That's too fast, and that feels really unfair. But I don't think Wish is too powerful. So how do you prevent the game over, I win, you couldn't do anything style of Wish without making her too weak? Here's what I would do, and I acknowledge that it would involve it might involve a lot of complicated coding on Dev Token's part. So maybe this is just infeasible from a computer programming perspective. But here's what I would do. I would change Wish. Well, so Wish itself wouldn't be a card that you start with in your deck. It's something that would have to be shuffled in. I would have the card you put in your deck be the Genie's Lamp. Genie's Lamp would have the ability, it would be a 3 power card, have the ability to burn 3 crystals of any color combination, restore 3 health to your hero, or restore 3 health, shuffle in the Genie. So you replace Genie's Lamp with the Genie. Otherwise, it could become an issue of just healing too much. Then, Genie would burn 3 crystals, specifically 1 red, 1 green, 1 blue, restore 6 health, and say, shuffle Wish into your deck. And then Wish would do what we normally do, what you normally do. And the reason why I like that is it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It does exactly what I had in mind. It preserves the alternate win condition aspect of Wish. It slows down, prevents just a turn 4, turn 5 game end. But by slowing it down, so it slows the deck down in a way that doesn't weaken the card significantly. Also, if due to metagame shifts or new expansions, if anything needs to be changed and Wish needs to be improved or weakened, that healing number, right, however many points you heal, that is a number you can easily mess with to make Wish stronger or weaker. So that's my thought. Moving on. Rompter I would make 3 power. I still don't think it would be all that good, but I'd make Rompter 3 power so that it's like reasonably bad, not terribly horrendously bad. Subis is alright. Notice that, so if you compare Subis to Hilda Ordinelle, you get something pretty comparable, right? And, it's becoming a 5 power rather than a 6 power, but destroying 2 crystals, which, as I said, is like a point of damage. And so the difference between 5 and 6 almost certainly turns into a point of damage. Rupter. There's been a lot of talk about how to change Rupter. I haven't tried Rupter to see how strong he is. And I actually don't know how Rupter works. What I would do, if he doesn't already work this way, is I would change it to so that if the opponent uses any crystals mid-turn, that is deducted from the amount of life that you lose. So if the opponent has 3 crystals but uses 2 of them, then you don't actually lose any life. Rider's good. Grider's good. Weesterdos, strong but good. Narrator, good. Mector, no complaints. Banacry, fine. No complaints there. Venredder, fine. Negatron... I mean, erasing card text is one of those effects that I just don't think should be good. I don't think this is good. I wouldn't change. Punyabot's fine. Mabatron, just like Tilia. Either leave as is to teach new players, see, this is why you don't run Mabatron, and this is why gaining power isn't as strong as you think it is, or just make the next red card gain +2 rather than +1. Wishmaker's fine. Mabatoir's fine. Dwanirog's really weak. The one change, so the change I would make is just say, instead of receiving 2 damage if the opponent's power doesn't get reduced to 0, just receive 1, right? Make it not hurt you that badly if it doesn't work. Isolopow's fine, Parloader's fine, Chiz Potato's fine, Flambot's fine. Box Punter, fine, Exigator, Exidiger. How badly have I been mispronouncing that until now? Either way, fine. Natfire's fine. Yes. Maybe the destroy 1 enemy crystal could be a destroy 2 enemy crystals, but... And, well... Maybe she should also get the and then opponent can't gain crystals next turn. Or maybe if she doesn't destroy a crystal, or if there isn't a crystal to destroy, then opponent can't gain crystals next turn. Yeah, maybe add that. The more I think about it, the more I like that. Cynthia, I would say destroy 2 enemy crystals instead of 1, but if you're not going to do that, maybe add on the, and then opponent can't gain crystals next turn. Just something about that. Fanaticis. So, and this was something else that DevToken and I kind of publicly disagreed on Discord. So, but this is my opinion. DevToken can make his own video. I think that Fanaticis is stronger than his counterparts Lindeen and Tanda. Just because since destroying a crystal doesn't always happen, right? Your opponent needs to have a crystal for you to destroy. So because of that, Fanaticis is just the most consistent, the most consistently a +2. And I think, okay, that's fine, let's just make him a little less consistent. How do we do that? Instead of the cost being 1 red, 1 green, and 2 any, just make the cost 2 red, 2 green. Just make it a little less consistent. Damus, I think he's weak. Is he too weak? Nah, I think he can be left as is. Yeah, it means that the only crystal destruction that green has is a weak one. That's perfectly fine. You can have something that a particular color just doesn't do, or doesn't do very well. For example, red doesn't have healing. Yeah, I think this is fine. Veden, I feel like is, same power level as Danelle or Hilda. Fine. Hellness is interesting. And just for being interesting, yeah, you don't change Hellness. If you don't like Hellness in your deck, okay, yeah, so it's to run the other generators. And then green certainly has other generators. Yeah, instead of damaging, this card heals the enemy by 1. So, okay. Means that you can deny a crystal to the opponent, but giving life instead. Yeah, I think that's fine. Mist is fine. Lulus is fine. Emosa's fine. Progus feels a little overpowered, honestly. I think I would nerf Progus to 1 attack power. You could say, just about... So the other colors have 1 card that is 2 power and is a crystal generator. Progus... So green has Progus and Blueless. Yeah, I'd say change Progus to only 1 power. Qualdos is fine. Zorillas I've never actually used, so I'd have to say fine. Lapis I like. Kobusin I like, it's kind of like a slightly powered up version of Danelle. Colosseer is really great at what he does. Grand Winter I like, in fact I like him so much I'm saying a lot of those other cards should be more like Grand Winter by saying burn 1 crystal. Your next card is +2 rather than +1. Speaking of which, Kofier, yeah, maybe do that. Again, unless you decide to just say, these cards are bad. And they're there to teach you why they're bad. Panchang, also on my cards that should not be good list. I mean, maybe if Panchang needs a slight buff, it might be... And if you draw in combat, gain a crystal. So that, so that you don't feel like you're burning a crystal for nothing. I don't know. T-Grounder I think is fine. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those cards that should not be good, and I think is not good, but is appropriately not good for how prankstery it can be. Priscus I think is fine. Yeah, Topidy. feel like is really high roll, but and don't really like high roll ideas, those crazy high roll guesswork cards, but I feel like it's weak. Should be weak, no problem. Pestilence, strong, but appropriately strong. Same with Damzoris and Godraris. Maxisur, maybe a little too strong, but I just don't see a good way of nerfing Maxisur. Would run it on. Maybe also implement the 2 and 2 for colors, although it would be less significant for would run it on, right? Because you only have 4 crystals. It's a little unlikely that they break down into exactly 2 red and 2 green. If you have 5 crystals, it's unlikely that they'd be 4 and 1 direction or the other. It's highly likely that you'd have 2 and 2 anyway, or 2 and 3 of 2 red and 3 green, or 2 green, 3 red. Lindeen, I think is kind of weak because the only destroying 1 crystal doesn't always happen, but with Mista being the most consistent multicolor generator anyway, and with there being so many options, right? So if you have that many blue-green burn options, and they're all pretty good, and some of them are really good, then that's just too powerful. So I think Lindeen's a little less powerful, but shouldn't actually be changed. And Royce, I was gonna say, until like last week, I was gonna say Royce is underpowered until I got an idea for a Royce deck. I'll be putting that video out soon. But yeah, I'd say Royce is fine. Yeah. So those are my ideas of what I would buff, what I would nerf, and what I'd keep the same. If you have any comments, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. And until next time, take care.